ソ野郎先に行くせいぜい頑張れ
Oh my god, bro! Well, the animators did it again. The animators certainly did a fucking insane job again. Like, holy, I don't even know how to describe what I'm seeing anymore, like, genuinely. Every week so far, there seems to have been some sort of, like, controversy behind the animators and the production schedules. I've talked about this a couple of times in live streams and in the previous reaction video to the last episode, but almost every week, the animators just somehow come out on top, and this episode, again, is just simply not even a scratch on the record. I actually felt like I was watching a film when I was watching this, and I said this on the stream that I was doing for this. Also, by the way, every Thursday from now on going forward, I'm going to be streaming live reactions to the episodes over on my Twitch channel, so go follow that. It always helps me out. And depending on how the streams go as well, I might always actually switch to streaming on Twitch because it's actually kind of more of a vibe. I'll explain that at a different point. But anyway, this episode was genuinely phenomenal. Everything that was going on within this episode felt insane. It felt beautiful. It was stylized. It was this dull contrast of everything that was going on, making it bleak and dark, and then it was just this stylized red blood just being bloated and being in your face about it. The color palettes were just simply phenomenal, and the animation was phenomenal. I really enjoyed just how stylized everything felt. I know there is a lot of people saying how they felt like the episode felt a little bit unfinished, but for me personally, I can see those, I can see it, but also at the same time, I think this weird stylization that they've done here, it really made sense to me for the episode. I only have one actual gripe with this episode, and that was that I wasn't able to see Sukuna's domain, and that one kind of sucked. I will say that one kind of sucked. I would have liked to have seen a more stylized, embossed Sukuna's shrine as it was revealed. Everything that happened in this episode was just simply phenomenal. There was a lot that actually, it adds a lot to the style of the fight. Show just how perfectly brutal the Maharaga is, or actually the Makura, by the way, because it's now actually referred to as the Makura in the anime, which I think is very, very interesting, which we already knew anyway, but it's just strange hearing it out loud, being a manga fan for so long and calling it the Maharaga, only for me to now hear it as the Makura. Feels very, very strange, but everything that happened in this episode was just simply beautiful. The Maharaga walking towards Haruta as Haruta is just panicking. Piece of resistance, because personally, poor Haruta. So that little sequence of Haruta panicking as he thinks he's about to die at the hands of the Maharaga, just simply fucking beautiful. And then there's this white angelic glow that the Maharaga has around it. I know I keep calling it the Maharaga. I know there's gonna be a lot of anime onlys in my comments saying it's the Makura, but I will always just end up calling it the Maharaga for some reason. It's just gonna stick in me. It's just how I know it first. Everything that went on in this episode, it just showed you just how strong and how powerful the Maharaga is, and just how strong and how powerful Sukuna is. Like, as these guys are fighting, there's literally planes dropping out of the sky, which brings me into another point. It's something that I mentioned a couple of reviews back, is that I really like the idea that the anime is encapsulating just how of a disastrous event this is by showing civilians and NPCs around the city panicking when stuff's going off. So we get to see this shot of a plane falling from the sky, and then a building falling, and then there's the shot when Sukuna activates his domain where everyone's like talking. And obviously I already know that this is in the manga, but seeing this animated and watching everyone just get atomized was just next level, and it was just, the animators really did do a phenomenal job. But there's a lot of rumors flying around on the internet right now about Mappa halting production on everything that's going on. Potentially the next week's episode's not even finished yet, and blah 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 blah. But I just want to say, from now on, I think if we're ever talking about the animation for Jujutsu Kaisen, I think we should just talk about the animators. We should just stop saying Mappa's name. We should just refer to that company as he who shall not be named, because they are working their animators into the fucking ground, and their animators are all over Twitter right now talking about the horrendous situation that they're in, but are still somehow producing quality like this on a week-by-week basis. One of them even said a couple of days ago that apparently Jujutsu Kaisen 0 was made in 3 months, and that grossed 200 million. something. I don't know. It grossed 200 million, which is insane. Yeah, I think we need to put a lot of respect on the animators, more so than we do on actual mappa and the studio itself. There's a lot that happens in this episode, and I want to talk about it. Like, for example, the Mahoraga overall in this episode was already a scary force to deal with. We know that because we've spoiled. I'm not going to say that actually because spoilers. But we already know that the Mahoraga is already a scary force to deal with anyway. But this episode really, really nailed it home just how much of a terrifying force this thing actually is. It really, because there's a lot of questions surrounding this thing's adaptation, but seeing the way it moves, seeing how fast it is, seeing how strong it is, seeing how the adaptation actually works, the process of it happening is actually really interesting, and I really enjoyed the way that mappa, the way the animators have put it together. It also just showed you how brutal this thing is. This thing is changing heights. It's creating shockwaves with its roar. It gets, at one point, it gets its arm and its leg cut off by Sukuna and still carries on fighting as if it's just a beast on pure instinct. And at one point, just before Sukuna activates his domain, this thing is massive. It's like the same size of a fucking building. It is huge. It is truly, truly a phenomenal episode. And I feel like I would be doing this episode a disservice by not talking about Yuji. The end sequence of Yuji was heart-wrenching. Heart-wrenching. Watching the transformation from Sukuna back into Yuji and seeing the smile of Sukuna slowly turn into absolute distraught on Yuji's face hurt. It really fucking hurt. But what I will say is how fucked up the studio is for making the fucking intro song play as this scene is happening. Like, you're literally showing one of Yuji's lowest points in this series. He's had a realization that he has just been forced to basically commit a genocide within Japan, and you then start playing a funky intro song, which to me is just it kind of took me out of the scene. It's fucked up, I will say. I would think I would have rather prepared it than play the outro, same way they did with Rico in Jujutsu Kaisen of Gojo's past arc. I think I would have much rather preferred that rather than the intro. But this sequence is phenomenal. Seeing Yuji scream and literally scratching the floor that much his fingers start bleeding is just powerful. Powerful. They literally created the sequence of Yuji sitting up and like just staring blankly. They created that shit perfectly. That is, I think, a prime Yuji moment throughout the series. It will always stand out to me as one of the best moments within the series, period. That moment, and then the I'm You moment, which is minor spoilers for the anime onlys, but it obviously you guys don't have the context for it, but that's coming. Yuji has a lot of fucking big moments within this series, within this season, within this arc, and I think the animators and the storyboarders and everyone that have put this thing together, I think they've done a phenomenal job at demonstrating just how brutal everything that is happening with Yuji, how brutal Sukuna is, how ruthless he is, and also more importantly, how powerful this dude is. Simply how powerful this is. There's a scene in here while the domain is still active, he activates his fire arrow, and it has the same effect as Jogo's like heat. It starts to melt the railings and the walls and glass everywhere. It starts to melt everything while the domain is still active and slashing everything up. Incredible destruction. Incredible. Overall, this episode for me was a solid 10 out of 10. And I don't care what anyone says, it's a solid 10 out of 10 for me. My only beef is that I'm not happy about not being able to see the full scope of Sukuna's domain. I would have much rather preferred they stayed a little bit true to the manga for that one, personally, rather than going a bit more artsy style and more unique with it. But yeah, overall, just incredible. But yeah, also every Thursday from now on, I am going to be streaming on my Twitch channel. I will link that down in the comments. I will link that down in the description. I'm going to be streaming over on my Twitch channel, and we're going to be doing live reactions to the anime episodes. And depending on how well the streams go over on Twitch, we might actually end up just moving over to the fully, because I can actually play music, I can actually enjoy music, I can do more stuff actively on Twitch than what I can do on YouTube. YouTube has a lot of copyright stuff, which we all know about. Otherwise, I would just be able to just react to the episodes straight up on here. YouTube has a lot of copyright shit that will just smite me instantly, and obviously, I don't want to do that, put a lot of work into this channel. Whereas Twitch, I don't really care about that. I think it's pretty okay for me to just, I'm okay with losing that channel. I don't really give a fuck about it. So, for the next couple of weeks, every week, I think we are gonna do a live reaction to the episodes as and when they drop. So I'll go live on the day, I'll put a tweet out, I'll put something out in the Discord, I will put something out on the YouTube channel to let you guys know that I'm gonna be live. And also, yeah, as always, that's everything from me. Phenomenal episode. If you haven't seen it already, go watch it. If you have seen it, let me know what you think in the comments down below. And as always, I will catch you guys all in the next one. Much love, big kisses, peace.